ก็คือผ่านการถือให้ดีตัวดีตอนนี้ที่ผมตอนที่ไม่ถือหาตอนนี้ที่ถ้าเราผู้ช่วยบริการหรือว่าตัวให้ทีมคนเราช่วยทีมให้ทีมคนแล้วพอมาแล้วก็พอมาI depends on what this example of but we can do that. For the second and the fourth one. It depends on what you want to mark. So I thought what we were trying to show, here you can sort of depend on the part what you portray or the accuracy of the mark. What of it? Get me right. Note that in markets, you cannot change your location picture. Then also the time what is your trying to say, maybe to show that okay, the market is a mark showing the demand for children or things like that. Because so for things like this, I get you get me. So that's what I'm trying to show that you need to make your right, right. So now, what I have to say on, if they want our contribution, like for paper I presented, if you remember the top market and showed that the private cemetery concentrating on the urban area, which is not easy. We get it. So using analytical hierarchy process. So that shows that these are the areas that are suitable instead of urban areas. So I the paper presented this so far. So thank you.
Okay, you want to? Do you want to? All right. So let us. Oh, all right.
Yes, definitely. When I go to the special accommodation. And it's very, very important that they don't students, they don't have to do so the conclusion of this area for private sectors and government like into the normal government classes. We get what get the special data easily also a cost effect. So that's the thing email or just as kind of zoom in very well. So the more you zoom in, the more you get the accuracy. When you don't zoom in, you know what I mean zoom in, you see the details very well. You don't get the accuracy. So if you just see you just start into not to type it. When you zoom in, better when you take your pencil around, when you zoom in, you see the error. So it's better zoom in when you the right. Don't make that answer. So it's from the zooming is not.
Let us appreciate Nelson. Yes, yeah, so yes, the academic session. Okay, this one. Cycle one. Who wants to get qualifications? From have the three items to go.
Yes, no. Okay. Yes, no.
So, we also do a keynote speaker, Dr. Caroline.
Oh, yes. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Online. And after
Hello.
that, we
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
nice talk by Amaka, Alice, and Jack. And lastly, now, come up with a GIS Drew workshop, which is an opportunity. Then we will round up. So very soon, the launch to be served to you. If I don't have any special requirement, situation is great on. Somebody will do something on the side, don't be distracted, just be calm, when you're through, don't go to head on back and go. So, let us wait on.
All right. Can everyone hear me?
All right, can everyone hear me?
Oh, I'm hearing a little bit of echo. Okay, perfect. Yay! I will share my screen. I'm so grateful to be here. I want to leave enough time for questions. There are some audio issues. So I think if you all run over to the chat at different points, that's probably the easiest way to make sure we can hear each other. So hi, I'm Caroline from SciStarter. I'm so honored to be speaking at the State of the Map with the Unique Mappers, and hopefully next year I'm gonna join you in person. I got in touch with someone at the U.S. State Department, and they're like, well, if you apply properly, blah blah blah, maybe next year. So I'll be pushing on that. Hopefully we'll finally get to meet in person after all this time. So if you want to get some background on our collaboration, I wrote up a post on the SciStarter blog. So it's just also a way to celebrate you all. I sent it out to friends of mine from around the world because I think you all are a really good example of the best of citizen science, public engagement in science, and hopefully you can inspire others to map the world. So I wrote that blog post celebrating our collaboration with you. A little bit about me. So I'm a program specialist at SciStarter, but I've worn a few hats at SciStarter over the years. I've been working at SciStarter for nearly 7 years now, which is awesome. I work with groups from around the world to help them find real science they can do. Outside of SciStarter, I'm also the executive director of a nonprofit that builds civic technology called Florida Community Innovation. And actually, we have our own map. I'm going off script a little bit. But we're mapping all of the resources in Florida. So Florida is the state I live in the United States. And I'll show you guys where Florida is on the map. United States, Florida. So there's Florida on the map. It's the part of the US that kind of sticks out a little bit. And we're mapping every resource that someone would need to get help in Florida. So let's take food, for example. There are some people in Florida who don't have enough food to eat. So we're the first ever resource directory like this, where people can see, okay, where is the food that's closest to me? And we have this version that we're building, but we also have, that's the legacy version, but we also have this version under construction where we're actively adding new features based on feedback that we get from the people who need these resources. Like, hey, I wasn't able to find a doctor at this place, or this feature could be better. So we also have a dev version too, but that's a little off script. That's what I do outside of SciStarter, but wanted to let you know that I'm a mapper too. I also have successfully defended my PhD at the University of Florida. So I studied public engagement and climate change programming. So everything that y'all do about the environment really speaks to my heart as well. And I'm a huge fan of the Unique Mappers. I used to do, there's this thing, I know they're in Nigeria too, but we do pageants in the US, which are like competitions where you get to wear pretty dresses and things like that. And I donated my pageant winnings in 2021 to help establish the Land Pollution Lookout Project with you. So I really am truly grateful for this collaboration, and I've tried to give back as well. So I wanted to, for today's presentation, I know you all are interested in like AI. I know some of you are really interested in like being involved in Citizen Science Month next year. But I wanted to give some framing about how SciStarter thinks of citizen science on the global stage, because I know that's the paradigm that we all work in together, and I thought that international framing might be helpful. So citizen science is a term that encompasses y'all's work, but it also encompasses work from all sorts of different disciplines. There are citizen science projects that span everything from biodiversity to health to astronomy to everything in between. And citizen science can include, participatory mapping projects. Citizen science can include, testing water quality to see if that water is safe to drink. Ultimately, at SciStarter, we think of citizen science as a collaboration between scientists and those of us who are curious, concerned, and motivated to make a difference. Or another way we say it at SciStarter is citizen science allows anybody and everybody to turn their curiosity about the world into real scientific impact. Often, citizen science is done by collecting or analyzing data. Data is just information. Data can be words and pictures. You can take pictures with a smartphone or with a camera, and that is data that can be analyzed to track certain things. Our data can be measurements, right? Like the water quality, inches of rainfall. I'm in Florida, and we're actually about to have a big storm hit us, so we'll have lots of inches of rainfall that we'll need to track for scientists. But data, once we assess that data, that's how we come to a research result. So often, citizen science is when members of the public, or anybody and everybody, students, the Unique Mappers volunteers, etc., it's when anybody and everybody comes together to collect or analyze data for ongoing research projects. To be part of the scientific process at any part of it, right? Everything from posing a research question to disseminating those results. So citizen scientists have made a big difference around the world. Because of citizen scientists, we know that human belly buttons contain 50 plus species of bacteria. That's actually because of a project out of North Carolina in the United States where people used a swab and they were able to test the data they collected to see how much bacteria was in their belly button. Because of citizen science, and you all actually were part of this. This is the Stall Catchers project. That's how we all met. I met the Unique Mappers doing stall catchers all the way back in 2019. But because of citizen scientists, including the Unique Mappers, 3.5 months of lab equivalent research time was completed in one weekend through 2,566 hours of volunteer participation. That was all the way back in 2019. That was a great weekend. I loved meeting you all online then. And basically, you all mapped the brain. You classified blood vessels as stalled or flowing to help Alzheimer's researchers try to find a cure to this, debilitating disease. So that's an example of a big win that the Unique Mappers have already been part of. Because of citizen scientists, hundreds of exoplanets have been discovered, including Percival, an exoplanet in a habitable zone. So citizen scientists are mapping the night sky as well. And that is one of my ideas for tomorrow's workshop. I was thinking in terms of projects you might want to focus on for Citizen Science Month. Maybe you could get more into the astronomy space, because that's a really interesting aspect of mapping. Because of citizen scientists, 126 bird species have been identified as lost to science. So through projects like eBird, where people are able to map the birds they see, we're able to understand if these bird species are lost or if they're doing well and making it through their migration. We're actually about to have a big migration worldwide. We're in the thick of it right now. And because of citizen scientists, we've discovered some invasive ants spread by hitchhiking. Isn't that interesting? The ants we were able to see, oh, this is an invasive species. This isn't a species that's normally in a place. So you've heard about citizen science from me, and you all do citizen science, and you also heard about some of the wins, some of which you all have accomplished. So what's SciStarter's role in all of this? So SciStarter.org, we are a global organization. So if you go to SciStarter.org from anywhere in the world, you can find citizen science events, projects, and tools, over 3,000 of them. And you can search them and keep track of your participation. I know the Unique Mappers have made good use of that by having SciStarter accounts. And for some of the projects that we have that are affiliates, more on that in a second, you all are able to see the number and frequency of your contributions and even get some friendly competitions going sometimes, because I know as Unique Mappers, you all love to see how much you can do, how much you can classify, how much of a difference you can make, and you like some friendly competition, so there's a winner too. SciStarter enables that for tracking across projects and platforms. But ultimately, at SciStarter, our main role is to be a bridge between you and real science you can do. So we want to connect you to more projects than you would have found otherwise. And we want to connect these projects to volunteer communities like yourselves so they can answer big questions about the world that they would not be able to answer by themselves. So there are a number of different facets about SciStarter. We're a pretty big ecosystem. The core of the website is that project event finder, where you can find projects that match your interests, that might be hyper local in your neighborhood, that might be global, like the Stall Catchers projects. That's the heart of it, right? So the project leaders are able to get volunteers. And so the people like yourselves who want to make a difference are able to find projects, but we also do communication and multimedia outreach. I mean, I wrote a blog about y'all and posted it, right? That's communication right there, and we're spreading the word to the global community. We also have a podcast. We also do a lot of webinars. I know y'all have been on plenty of SciStarter webinars as unique mappers. We do free trainings, and I'll go over those in a second because for tomorrow's workshop, we're probably going to focus a little bit on the data ethics training. I know a number of you in past events have done our foundations training, so I thought data ethics would be fun to go through. And we give people badges in exchange for doing our trainings, and those are building on top of the project finder. There are also turnkey and customizable resources. I mean, you all saw that this past Citizen Science Month, right? With the 1 Million Acts of Science, you were able to use our different graphics and logos to inspire people to get started. And then we also, track participation and research how people participate in citizen science as well. So we have a bunch of different trainings now that you all can do. And once you do a training, you get it on your LinkedIn with the badge. I think for this group, because I was listening to your presentations earlier, y'all are high level. You have to get through the foundations just to get oriented to SciStarter generally. And that's a training your students could do, or if we have students in the audience that you all would probably enjoy. But then on top of it, we stack, the data ethics training. Or I know many of you are professors in the university system. You could do the teaching and higher education training. And then you get something on your LinkedIn to demonstrate your expertise. I think the content is great too. We'll go more into the data ethics training tomorrow. So our key initiatives, so we have this new thing called the SciStarter Ambassador Program. We have a training for that. We give out kits to people in the United States, but if you want to do the training, the basic premise of it is we're trying to help volunteers. So these might be your students or these might be yourselves, get the skills they need to help other people get involved in citizen science, mainly through libraries, because libraries are great community hubs, like your university library, or other places where libraries might be in Nigeria. Those could be places where you all meet to do citizen science. And of course, every April Citizen Science Month, we just try to get as many people doing citizen science as possible. And we try to get 1 million acts of science. That's our big campaign for Citizen Science Month, where that's over 1 million contributions to projects, our attendance at events. 1 million acts of science. This was our first year doing it in 2024, and you all knocked it out of the park. And we actually have a video celebrating you later in the presentation. And then lots of kits that people can check out in libraries that we've built. And they're all meant to increase the capacity of people and organizations to engage in citizen science efforts. So I mentioned tracking participation. This is mainly done through affiliate projects. There are thousands of projects on the SciStarter platform, but a select few have gone the extra mile to use our API to track the number and frequency of contributions. So whenever I do the IC Change project and I document a climate impact by taking a picture and describing it, maybe I'm in Florida, so things flood a lot. Maybe I document flooding on my sidewalk. I can take a picture of it, post it to IC Change, describe what I think the impact on the community would be, and that contribution, the number and frequency of my contributions to IC Change gets recorded in my SciStarter dashboard. That gives me bragging rights, right? I'm able to see how much I've done at the end of the year at all these different affiliate projects. But it also allows SciStarter to give me badges and reward my participation and things like that. In the SciStarter affiliate program, you can search for affiliates on the project finder, but we also have a special page for it too on the website that you can find. But I think the affiliate program is really interesting because we're all leaders here, right? You all lead really inspiring efforts in Nigeria and across Africa and around the world. So I think as leaders, these tools are really helpful because it allows us to do collective impact analysis. So tracking participation, time, and impact, right? So we're able to see, did our push in April actually get people to participate? How much science have we done? Are we making a difference? So as leaders, I encourage you to use SciStarter's free tools like the list tool, where you can add different affiliate projects to a list. It's pretty intuitive about how to do that when you're on the project page. If you share that list with people, you can track their analytics for free. And we've used the affiliate program to celebrate y'all in the past for sure. And then we just love the Unique Mappers. So I just wanted to take a second to celebrate our past partnership with you and then think about what's to come. So, I met you all through the Stall Catchers program, but we really got started in earnest when you all helped with Land Loss Lookout. So I picked this project the champion after I lost my grandpa in the aftermath of Hurricane Michael. And I was really passionate about how can we have systemic changes to make our world safer, especially in regard to things like hurricanes. Wetlands really matter. On the Gulf Coast, they're the first line of defense against hurricanes, and they're being lost at an alarming rate due to sea level rise, due to oil and gas extraction, due to other factors. So I was really championing Land Loss Lookout, and I made it part of my platform for the Miss Earth USA pageant, and you all answered the call. You analyzed more images to get a research result for Land Loss Lookout than any other group. In 2021, 2020 and 2021, you analyzed over 6,000 images. I was just in awe of what you had done. And this resulted in real research results. And I know a journal article is forthcoming. And these results were also used to show the state government to help protect these wetlands. So trained volunteers agreed with the experts. So you all made really good classifications. At least 83% of the time you were correct, which is huge for a citizen science project. And the way they weighed those annotations, we know it came to a robust research result. So there were over 600 participants, 672 to be exact, and many of those were unique mappers. And you tagged the majority of images as oil and gas and sea level rise. So those were the two main causes of wetland loss, though there were other factors like farming, restoration, wetland loss due to restoration, shipping, and shoreline erosion. And now that we know what's causing the wetland loss, we can be more targeted about trying to fix it. And you can see that you classified these satellite images and it allowed for really innovative mapping. And it was so inspiring what you all did to help the people of the Gulf Coast of the United States from where you were that we were able to team up. So Dr. Victor Sunday on the Unique Mapper side worked with Healthy Gulf, Cartoscope, and Northeastern, the organizations that created Land Loss Lookout. And then I donated my pageant winnings to Healthy Gulf to help spur the creation of Land Pollution Lookout. So this is an ongoing project. You can still participate. It's the same technical platform as Land Loss Lookout, but now you're mapping potential oil spills locations in the Niger Delta. So this project is showcased on SciStarter, so people can go to scistarter.org/land-pollution-lookout to participate. And because this is an affiliate project, if at the end, after your participation session, you record your participation in their credit form, we're able to keep celebrating you and saying how much you've accomplished. And when you're participating, you're mapping that data again on your computer, and you're looking for oil spills, evidence of pipelines, you're trying to show rivers and creeks, and you're also trying to show damaged vegetation. So that project's ongoing. I look forward to seeing you all continue to participate because it's just been so inspiring. So this is the future-oriented part of the presentation that the team asked me to talk about. I mean, what's next? The sky is really the limit for you. So there are some interesting developments in the citizen science space. So we keep on hearing the term AI, AI, AI. And it's not that AI will replace citizen scientists. AI, artificial intelligence, will just change how we collaborate as a citizen science community. So I've been meeting with project leaders from around the globe, and they've been using AI in some pretty interesting ways. And I encourage you all to incorporate that in your projects. And if you email me one-on-one, I'm happy to meet with you and think about how we can build capacity in this regard. So, for example, there's the stall catchers project that you all know and love, where you classify those blood vessels to understand if they're stalled or flowing. And by making that annotation, you're contributing to Alzheimer's research. Well, with stall catchers, they're using AI to check people's biases. So we're all biased. Maybe we're more likely to see a stall as flowing when it's actually stalled. There are all sorts of different things. What the leader of stall catchers has been able to do is he pairs an AI that has the opposite bias to the participant. So you can check each other's biases. The AI checks you and you check it. So AI can't do these classifications by itself yet. And, we're imperfect. We have some level of bias. But when we work together and we have the AI checking our bias, we can have a more robust research result. With iNaturalist, they've used AI and machine learning to suggest image IDs. And they've been doing this for a while. So when you use the iNaturalist app and especially Seek by iNaturalist, to document different plants and animals to understand their species distribution, if they might be endangered, if they might need some help. The AI components of it will suggest what type of plant or animal you're looking at. And it's gotten more and more accurate. So AI is getting even better at helping us map the world and biodiversity around the world with iNaturalist. And then we see projects like eBird and Merlin, these big global bird projects where they're using AI and machine learning to help you detect bird calls. I've always been nervous about birding. I mean, birds are a very important species around the globe. If the birds are doing well, we're doing well. They are an indicator variable for us. But I love documenting them. I want to understand them and make sure they're not going extinct. But I have a really hard time hearing bird calls. I hear them, I'm like, I don't know what type of bird that is. But thanks to AI tools with eBird and Merlin, you can just use a smartphone and it'll detect the bird call and identify it for you. So yet again, another example of AI helping us map the world. And then there are camera trap projects like Snapshot Safari. That's a project where camera traps have been put out in different national parks where elephants might roam, for example. And they're motion activated. So when an elephant or another creature walks by this camera, it snaps a picture. And then in the past, volunteers like you and I would have to go through and classify all these. But now we still have to do a certain amount of that, but it's a lot faster thanks to AI tools. And then on SciStarter, we've experimented with AI at various points to suggest different projects that match your past participation patterns. And that's an example of how citizen science can get more customized. So some common themes here, right? The thing about AI is it's speeding things up. It is not eliminating our work, but it's reducing it in certain regards. So I wouldn't have to put the legwork in to memorize a bunch of bird calls because AI can help me identify it. But we still need humans. We still need someone to deploy the AI technologies. So I think with citizen science and participatory science generally, as AI speeds things up and makes things easier, I think it's going to help us level up our participation. So instead, volunteers are going to be more on the front and back end of science participation. They're going to be more on the side of maybe posing research questions and then later disseminating those results and making them change government policy, right? Because even if the AI is perfect at classifying all the camera trap data, we still need someone to disseminate the result and spread the word about the fact like, hey, elephants are declining in this area, let's change something. So I think AI will not eliminate citizen science, but just change the type of engagement that we have. I also know the Sustainable Development Goals are a big deal. So one thing we've had on SciStarter for a few years now is you can use the Project Finder to search by SDG. So there is an organization called OSDG where they went through and classified all the different projects on the Project Finder. And I think this is helpful because in my community, actually, the Sustainable Development Goals are a big deal for where I live in Florida, for our city government. And they're constantly trying to prioritize projects that align with different SDGs. So I think if you're able to classify citizen science projects as aligning with different SDGs, you might be able to get more funding for them and help galvanize excitement about them. So the Project Finder is a great resource for that to try to find alignment in these different categories. And that's the OSDG organization that classified projects that that corresponded with different sustainable development goals. And here's an example. So this is the Eterna project. It's a project where you solve puzzles to help synthesize RNA-based vaccines, and you can see OSDG classified it as aligning with the good health and well-being SDG goal, which makes sense, right? Because we're all going to be healthier if we have RNA-based medicines to combat global diseases. And that's a little bit of a closer look about like what it looks like on the project finder. That's the good health and well-being classification. So I'm gonna make sure I'm sharing with sound because I want to play a video for you about how much we love the unique mappers. So I've given you some examples of our past collaborations. I've given you some examples about different topics that you might noodle on as you pick what you want to focus on this year. But I'd be remiss if we didn't celebrate a huge accomplishment you had with 1 million acts of science this April 2024. So I'm gonna play this video and hopefully it gets us hyped up to participate in April 2025. And then during tomorrow's workshop, we can dive more into how exactly what you might want to focus on in April 2025, how exactly SciStarter can support you, how I can use my global contacts to hopefully help, what partnerships you want to pursue, and yeah, how you want to make a difference. So let's roll the clip. Oh, oops, that was the wrong video. I'm actually going to show you. I uploaded it to SciStarter's YouTube channel, so I'm going to go there because I had the exact number of things that you classified. Okay, let's play the right video this time. So I'm just pausing there. So based on your all's mappings about vulnerable flood communities, you had over 19,000 acts of science in April 2024. That's a humongous accomplishment. So as citizen science increasingly becomes a global household name, a global movement, we're looking to the unique mappers to lead the way. So let's celebrate you on the global stage this April 2025. Let's figure out what projects you want to participate in, how much you want to map, what you want to map. Let's talk about who you want to get in front of, what groups you want to present to. SciStarter is here to be a friend to you, to celebrate you, and hopefully together we can reach new heights. So that's me. I'm Caroline. You can get in touch with me via email, and then I also do my best to check WhatsApp. So my email is caroline@scistarter.org, and I'm in y'all's WhatsApp chat, but my phone number is 407-562-7793, and I think the US country code is a 1. So yeah, thank you again for having me. This was a delight. And I'll check the chat for any questions. Just an FYI, you're muted for our friends.
Got you. Art of Science. Offered to society's problem. So I want to thank Caroline Nickerson for that amazing presentation. I want to announce that Science Starter, being represented by Dr. Caroline Nickerson, is one of our sponsors for this State of the Map Nigeria 2024. They've been with us for the past 7 years, and they've been also providing support and sponsorship to the State of the Map Nigeria. And from 2022 to the bronze sponsorship for this conference. Can we give a round of applause to them? Thank you very much, Karen Nickerson, for that amazing presentation. We all want you to join us again next year, April 2025, for the Global Citizen Science Month. You see, our unique mappers, we don't just map, we also empower everyone with citizen science projects. Because when you talk about mapping with OpenStreetMap, you digitize. But in citizen science, we expose our volunteers, our community with the collection of other scientific projects, collection of data for other scientific projects. Like you've heard her, we map the brain. Mapping the brain has to do with Alzheimer's disease. And then that is where we talk about using your AI on your smartphone. And right there, you'll be solving the problem. You'll be finding cure to Alzheimer's disease. And not just that, we've been able to also map a land pollution lookout in Niger Delta, where we used more than 3,000 satellite imageries that we collected, and we engaged more than 300 participants nationwide to look at these satellite imageries and observe what is happening. Is there any spill there? Is there any impacted vegetation? And so on. And I want to let you know that the more you engage the crowd in verifying a data, the more accurate it is. Yes, we have listened to every one of us about authoritative data sets and every other thing. But I want to let you know also that when you engage the crowd in collecting and verifying the data, the more accurate that data will be. And that is what we do as citizen science. Thank you very much.
A round of applause again for our national coordinator for that talk. Now, we're almost there. Just one down, two more. We move on to the next lightning talk, and we'll be listening to mapping to reduce poverty in rural Nigeria. And this will be handled by Amaka Harrison Aja. Online or yeah? Amaka Harrison Aja. It's not here. Okay. All right. Let's move on. And I will go on to move up again a little. We are going to take this item. We are supposed to have at 227, and that is GIS drone workshop. And this workshop will be handled by, we have 2 items there: unlocking geospatial insight with open source tools, a QGIS and OSM tutorial. And also, the second item there, a practical guide to leveraging the power of drone mapping for sustainable development. So, the first person that will be presenting here is Ezekiel Ogungbemi. Is he around? Okay. So I'll hand over the microphone to Dr. Victor Sunday. Okay. It's not so clear here, but somebody just came up that she has the lightning talk, and that is between the last page 16 item and the beginning of page 17 item. And you come with, what is the title again? When you come up, you tell us that. So welcome on board. Anoluapo Kuye, a round of applause for her. Let's celebrate her. Let's celebrate her. Don't be tired of celebrating people. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to hear responses. Though. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So I'm going to be presenting a lightning talk on the transformative power of youth-led data collection in improving healthcare facilities through electricity planning. And I don't hope to bore you all. I hope it's something interesting and interactive. Okay, so my name is Anoluapo Okuye, and yeah, I'm going to be presenting this topic. And we had like 2 other people that we both came together to write something about this topic. Okay, so my question: how would you feel if someone that is dear to you, if his or her life depends on an health facility that lacks access to electricity? How would you feel if someone that is dear to you, like the person's life depends on an healthcare facility that does not have access to electricity? What did you say? You'll be happy, you'll be so joyous, or what? All right. So that's the reason for this topic, the transformative power of youth-led data collection for mapping health care facilities through electricity planning. Okay, so a little backstory. Please, can you like the slide? Or should I just continue? Okay. So as of this time last year, we had the opportunity of being part of a workshop training, which was tagged Mapping for Heat and Health. We went as a chapter, which is Youth Mappers OAU, and we got exposed to workshop training on how we can map for it and health. And basically, the training sprung up as a result of the Power Up Africa project. So the Power Up Africa project was interested in ensuring that health facilities, they had access to electricity. So that was what it was about. So we got a lot of exposure from the training, and we could see how youths can actually like bridge the gap between healthcare facilities and access to electricity just by taking data about electricities that have access, about healthcare facilities that have access to electricity rather. Okay, and electricity is important when it comes to healthcare. Imagine you want to carry out a surgery and there is no access to light, like it's going to feel somehow. Or you have some other things like, okay, you want to carry out a surgery, we see doctors, or should I say surgeons, they make use of light to even see what they are doing or the operation they want to carry out. Or is it in terms of child delivery or vaccination? So electricity is an important factor when it comes to healthcare, and we can't overemphasize the need for youth, especially in this part of the country where we have a lot of youth that are, we know we have youths that are doing illegal things, but this is a way of empowering them to like be a positive change or do positive things in their society. Okay, so once we were done with the training at Federal University of Technology, Akure, we had to come back to Ile-Ife to give back to our community on what we learned. So we carried out a project on mapping for heat and health in Ile-Ife. And here in Ile-Ife, we actually like touched over 100 health facilities around us. So how did we tackle the problem? All right, please, can you, like the next slide? Just keep going, please. Okay, how did we tackle the problem? Okay, all right, so this is our study area. We concentrated on 3 local governments around Ile-Ife because we are students, so we have to do something that is close to us. So we made use of Ife Central, Ife East, and Ife North. Those were the 3 local governments we considered around Ile-Ife environs because it was closer to us. Please, can you go to the next slide? Wow. Okay. So how did we tackle the problem? So basically, we conducted a training because it will make sense you are going to the field and those that you want to use as a means of gathering data about those health facilities if they don't have knowledge on what they should do. So we trained members on how to use tools like Kobo Collect, Mapillary, Mapillary, because we needed the Kobo Collect to like collect as a survey to collect answers to some survey questions that were on it, and Mapillary to like map the route going to those health facilities. So we trained members on those tools, and you can see these are pictures of the training session that we had with our members that are going to the field to actually gather data with regards to the health facilities. Then after we were done training, then we went to we ensured that we splitted like members into several like the Kobo Collect lead, that we ensure that anybody that uses the Kobo Collect to like take answers to some survey questions, they ensure that they are inputting the right answers to those questions. And we had the Mapillary lead. Then we had those that were in charge of the navigation because we had to like locate health centers that were like close to. We had to locate the health centers in those 3 local governments. So we had people that were in charge of the navigation, and they would just tell us, okay, oh, this is where you should go. The health center we're going to, we'll get there in the next so minutes, and yeah. So that was the methodology we carried out for the project. And after that, I have 3 minutes more. Okay, so after that, can you go to like the next slide? Next. Next, please. Okay, so I wanted to like show the picture of the field work, but since we are not there. Oh. Okay, so I want to talk about the challenges we encountered while we were carrying out the data collection. We noticed that um, some health facilities were not. Mark is telling us maybe this is where so health facility is, and we are getting there and we are not in the health facilities. So this was part of the challenges we encountered while we were gathering that data. Then we noticed that some routes to some con or ride on, and because there are some places that if you go in the long run, you might get kidnapped or something happens. So those routes we could not like say we want to like collect data. Then we had some places whereby some health facilities were already shut down. They were no longer in operation. Then we had some health facilities that were like, we should not indulge them. They don't want to like give us access to some of their data because what we asked for during during the data collections, we noted the names of the health facilities. Did they have access to light? Because we noticed that some health facilities were even located. There was this particular health facility that was located in an area that the last time they had access to light was like over 10 years ago. Like, so we had challenges like that. And okay, another question that we also asked, okay, you're not connected to the national grid, fine. But do you have other sources of health, of electricity? It could be generator or solar. Some add solar, but could not. Some add generator, but could not power it. Considering the cost of fuel, right? And we had some that even their solar was not. It was not solar in like small solar for an healthcare facility. Is not. It's not proper. So, and those were some of the questions we asked. Then we also ensured that we took location, the location of those health facilities, so we could like, if it's possible, to update them, the facilities and their location. Then like with Mapillary, anybody that wants to like go to that health center, they can know, okay, this is where you should go, this is the route to this health center. So
So thank you, my coordinator. We are about to round it up, but before then, okay, thank you very much. So let me provide us with this information. We shall be having under the GIS drone workshop. We shall be taking just one item there, which is unlocking geospatial insights with open source tool, a QGIS and OSM tutorial. That will be taken by Ezekiel Ogungbemi. Then afterwards, before we take our lunch, those of us with the t-shirt, diverse color, I can see the red, the blue, the yellow. So at the instance of the national coordinator, so we shall have a group photograph outside. Then afterwards, we take our lunch. When we take our lunch, the last activity for the day is on the general workshop, and that is on mapping with AI using JOSM and RAP-ID. And that is the Mappathon training or trainers. That will be taking place at the Kufunuyi Hall. That will be the last item of the day. So before that, let's speak to and welcome Okay, thank you very much. This next talk we are going to be having is a kind of hands-on training, and that is unlocking geospatial insights with open source tools, a QGIS and OSM tutorial, and it's like a practical hands-on. Those who have their laptops here, they'll be doing some work. Is that? Yeah. Yes. So we are thinking of two things. We will serve our lunch along with it. So your lunch will be by your side. After that, you go out to take the photograph. Then after that, we go to the last item, which is the Mappathon training that we have at the Kufunuyi Hall. I think we are okay by that. Sorry, it's a long day, and I'm trying to manage our disposition at this point in time. So let us have a little patience, and the lunch will be served, the training will be going on, and I believe that you get the best out of it. Thank you very much for your patience again. Okay, and okay, if you can take that. Okay, he is suggesting that we serve the food now. Let's relax and just take our meal and relax. So please, let's quickly do the serving of the lunch.
that will drive informed decisions. So we have other geospatial environment likes of 10.8 ArcMap, 10.8 ArcGIS Pro, likes of Global Mapper, SOFA, and so on. We will notice I'm going to like inform us if you don't know that QGIS an open source tool. And why is it called open source tool? Because you can access most of the tools in the GIS environment for free. If you are very good tech-wise, that's you can automate, write some scripts. You can also build plugins, all right, and put it on the platform. And so that's why QGIS is often referred to as what an open source geospatial tool. Next slide. So one of the questions I get in my community back in Smapas Futa from the members is after introducing to them how to map, how to digitize on the platform, draw the polygon, draw the lines, put your nodes on the platform, they ask the question that what's the essence? Why are we just drawing these polygons? Where is it going to? All right. So I'm glad to inform you that you can actually access that data you are uploading to the OSM database via JOSIM or the ID editor platform that you're using to edit. The number one platform you can use is the Auth Export tool. It's a website that was created by HOT, the Humanitarian OpenStreetMap team. So on that platform, you can extract OSM data. I would show us a brief demonstration. Then the next one is the Humanitarian Data Exchange Platform. Also, the short form is HDX. The next one is healthsites.io. Before I came up, the previous presenter, person of Anuke, explained that last year there was a workshop that was held at ITMAP Hospital where we mapped out health centers in Akure, majorly Akure, right? So that data, we actually mapped the health care facilities using the Kobo toolbox. Now that data, when it was collected, it was then uploaded to a particular website, a database, and that database is healthsites.io. So this healthsites.io contains it contains an updated data of healthcare facilities. Well, I can say around the world. Yes. Next website we can extract data from OSM is OSM data from OSM website itself. And lastly, you can extract OSM data from a plugin in the QGIS environment, which is so. Next slide. All right, so you can do well to scan this QR code. This QR code will give you the link to download 2 spatial data we're going to be using for this workshop. So we're going to leave it for like 5 minutes or thereabouts. I know if we scan it on our phone, right, it will be downloaded on our phone. So there's a way you can put it on your system. You can just quickly do that. All right, so I'll forge ahead. Okay, so the first platform I talked about, next slide, please. The first platform I talked about, which is the auth export to websites. So if you have your laptops, you can turn them on and just type on the browser or on your Chrome browser, just type auth export to and click the first link. So at this stage, I would like to know if anybody will be following me so that I can know if I should just rush through or I should. Is anybody following? If you are following, just raise up your hand. Okay. So now, this is the auth export to website, right? Okay. Next slide. So to download your data from, the auth export website, you need to define your area of interest. So there are different ways you can define your area of interest. You can either search the area or you can draw a box or you can draw with freehand. That's the pencil you are seeing there. Or you can download the OSM data for this view as it is. So in other words, if you zoom closely, once you go to the next step, the website will recognize this place as your area of interest. And that can be very voluminous because this contains quite a number of countries. And yes, the last one. No, go back. Yes, the import. So this one will allow you to import a defined boundary, a defined area of interest. So if you have downloaded the data you just scanned, you should be able to see the Nigeria shapefile. You should be able to see the Nigeria shapefile. Now that data is in shapefile format, but here on auth export to, you need to convert the shapefile to JSON, JSON. Else, auth export to will not recognize that format. That's the shapefile format. So you can just click on the import and navigate to the folder where the shapefile is. The boundary, which is now in GeoJSON. You import it here, then you go to the next step. Here you describe, next slide. Here you describe the name, give it a description, and what is the title of the project you are working on. That makes you to come to export to download the data. Click on next and go to next slide. Here you get to select the format you want to download the data into. You can select the shapefile, the geo package, and the likes. You can store the coordinates, the X and Y coordinates. Next slide. What data do you want to download? All right, so there are tons of data to download from OSM. And under the buildings, you can see that arrow. So if you click on the arrow, there is another segment. In other words, you can streamline the type of buildings you want to download: land use, localities, healthcare, government, and the likes. And the last step is just a summary of all that you have selected from the beginning. So if there is a mistake, you can as well just go back and go and make corrections. Then click on create export. Next slide. So when you click on create export, there'll be another platform, another page with a link that bears the name you filled. When you click on the link, the link will automatically download your data in a zip format, and you're good to go to use it for whatever analysis you want to use it for. The next platform, which is the Humanitarian Data Exchange website. All you just need to do is go to your Chrome as well and type in Humanitarian Data Exchange website, and you get this view. Now, this website hosts different versions, different formats of geospatial data. You can get your administrative boundaries of any region. You can get the population data, population density. You can as well also get raster data from this platform, right? So all you just need to do is to click on that search field there, type what you want to download, and a list of options will pop up. And all you just need to do is click on the link, and you get to where you want to you get a link that will enable you to download what you want to download. Next slide. Yes, this is the healthsites.io website. So just like as it's just websites.io, and this will pop up. So if you want to streamline the area where you want to download, like you want to define the area of interest where you want to download data from, all you need to do is to click the drop down. Those are our continents. So you just click on that red arrow, and there'll be a drop down for a list of countries in the continent. For example, if you want to download the health data for Nigeria, just go to Africa, scroll down, you see Nigeria, you download. Now the funny thing is the data that is available for Nigeria here is for the entire Nigeria region. So if you want to get of course you have to do your processing operation, clipping, right? So but the data has been made available in that link you just downloaded, because we are going to be using it very soon. Next slide. Yes. So this is OpenStreetMap website, right? Very simple. So zoom closely to the extent at which you want to download the data for, and just go up there. You see export, right? So when you click on export to download your data in JSON format. Just a notice as well. I've been talking about the shapefile, the JSON format, the shapefile, JSON format. QGIS gives us that ability to be able to convert data format, especially the shapefile to JSON. I had that particular issue when I wanted to download from data from Export website. Because my data was in shapefile format, so I needed to convert it to. So when I realized that I could do that on QGIS, it means very simple for me. So all I just need to do is upload the shapefile to QGIS. All right. If you know how to use the environment very well, just right click on the layer, then go to data, export, then select the options you want to select. You see the list, you see JSON there, select and OK. Okay, so this is how to download OSM data from the OSM website. Next slide. We are getting closer to the interactive session. So there is this powerful plugin on QGIS called QuickOSM. The QuickOSM serves like an intermediary between OSM data in the OSM database and QGIS GIS environment. So all you need to do is to install the plugin in your QGIS software, run a few queries, very simple, just English language, and the plugin will pull OSM data from the OSM database and display it in the map view of your QGIS. Right. Next slide. So this is just showing. This is just showing how it looks like when you open the QuickOSM plugin. Next slide. Okay. So if you have your QGIS open right now, let's do a quick exercise. So if you have your QGIS opened, just wave your hand like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use a higher version. But if it is the QGIS 2 you have, you can still use it. You can use it. You might have challenge, and the challenge might be if you try to install the QuickOSM, it might not install. So it might require, you might require to get a higher version to install the plugin. But you can try it now. Do you have it installed now? Just use it now. Yes. Okay, so yes, sir. No. Okay, so back slide. Let's go back. That should be 15. Slide 15. All right. Now, okay, let's go to slide 17. Let me quickly show something. Then we'll go back to 15. So now these tabs, vector, raster, database, web, mesh, and co. There are other tabs to the left. I just had to cut it. Now, one of those tabs there is named plugin. So when you click on that plugin tab, it will open. Now let's go to 15. It will open this. So when this is opened, you go to the search, that search tab, or rather, then you type QuickOSM. I should come again. Slide 17. All right. So those tabs that are up there, kind of locate a tab called plugin. You've seen it. Okay. Okay. So let's go to 15 back. Sorry. So here on 15, on slide 15, when you click on QuickOSM in that search field, of course you'd see that QuickOSM icon there. It will be unchecked if you are just using QGIS for the first time. So you need to check it, that box, the black check. Then when you check it, of course you see an option to install down there. Then when you install it, it's installed already, like just that automatically. Then click on close. So next slide. So if by chance you use it, we're going to use it in the exercise we're about to do. So if by chance you want to use it, so this is how it's going to look like. This is the interface. You have two fields, key and value. I'll get to that. Let me jump ahead of myself. Next slide. Okay, so to the exercise. If you have successfully installed the QuickOSM on your QGIS, kindly go to the vector tab on your QGIS interface. You see the QuickOSM. Just keep following the trend, the direction. Then ensure you click on Quick OSM. Like, so depending on the version you have, I'm not sure, I don't know if this is what you are also seeing. Who is following, please? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so do you have this? All right, something like that. Okay, so before I forge ahead, I believe you are seeing something very important. You are seeing a colon. A colon is named as key, and the other column is named as value. So in OSM, OpenStreetMap, when you upload the data to the database, OSM recognizes your data with two characteristics. Are we following? OSM recognizes your data with two characteristics, and that's the key and the value. The key and the value. So usually if I draw a polygon on OSM, it is required of you to tell OSM database that this polygon is a building. And what type of building is it? Is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it a conference or, right? So that attribute data is very needed, and that's what is represented as the key and value. So when you want to now pull data from OSM into QGIS, QGIS is going to ask you, what is the key? What is the key of the data you want to download? And what is the value? So kindly just click on the drop down for the first field. You should see a number of drop downs: highway, building, what have you. But for this exercise, we are downloading highway data. So if you have done that, wave your hand so that I can know you are following. Anybody? Yes, this slide is actually available. So I can, of course, make it downloadable. So if you have these slides, these step by steps, you have it. So when you get home, you can follow these steps. And the explanation I'm giving is going to give you a background knowledge. So when you get to it, it's just the practical that you do and you get it right. Yes, they'll make it available on Telegram group. Thanks, Sam. So has anybody clicked on the drop down and you've selected highway? Okay. Now go to the value next to it, the value field next to it. Click the drop down as well and find residential. Have you gotten it? Highway residential. Have you gotten it? Anybody? Okay. Now, on OSM, we don't just have highways as residential. We have highways that are classified as unclassified, is also a value. We have highways as primary. We have highways as secondary, tertiary, and a few other values. So now, we don't just want to pull residential highway. We also want to pull unclassified highway. And for most of us, I believe we are familiar with the logical operators. And and or, and or. And or. Those are the two basic logical operators. We also have not, NAND, and the likes. But in this case, we're going to be making use of the OR logical operator. So in other words, we are telling this module, this tool, this plugin that pull residential highways or pull unclassified highways. So after you have filled the first row, you go to that index, the first column, click the drop down, you see the list of logical operators. Select the OR, then fill the next row, highway unclassified. Okay. Now I want to give a reason why we're not going to be using the AND logical operator. And this is because when you say quick OSM, pull residential highway and unclassified highway, you are telling quick OSM to pull highways that are residential and both unclassified at the same time. And that's impossible because highways cannot bear, yes, even OSM data generally cannot bear two values at the same time. So you need to use the OR logical operator. In other words, pull for me residential highways, or if you can find unclassified highways as well, pull both of them to the QGIS environment. So that's why we are not using the AND operator. Next slide. So before you go to the next slide, after you have filled in the query, just go down there and click on Run Query. So when you click on Run Query, then you would have, that's the map environment. Pardon me, I didn't capture that in full. So so you can see the road network. I actually downloaded for the entire Nigeria boundary, like all the roads network for residential and unclassified. But I only need the road network for Ondo State, right? So I imported my Ondo State boundary, and I performed an operation called select by location. Select by location. Okay. Please go to slide 27. No. Next slide. Yes. Okay. All right. So, amongst those tabs that is in the first picture, you just go to Vector, then go down to Research Tools, and go to Select by Location. Have you located the Select by Location tool? Anybody? You couldn't. You are lost. Where? Installing QuickOS. All right. Will you follow me now? In your tabs, where you have your tabs, locate plugin. Have you seen plugin? click on it. You've installed QuickOSM. Now go in the tabs again. Go to Vector. Are you there? You should see QuickOSM now already. Now open the QuickOSM tab. Are you there now? Okay, so you should see the query. That's slide 18. You should see the query window already. All right. So in your first column, where you have keys, there should be a drop down. Just click on that. You should see. You should have a drop down. If you don't have a drop down, just type highway. Highway. Go to the value. Go to the value. Go to the value. Type residential. Residential. Do you have this or option? You know, after you have highway residential or you don't have it version. So if you don't have the or option, that means you have to run your query twice. So run for highway residential, click on run query, then go back to QuickOSM, select highway. This time around for the values, select unclassified. Are you with me now? Highway unclassified. Are you with me now? So, okay. So I was trying to tell us how to locate the select by location tool. Go to your tabs again. Go to Vector. Under Vector, go to Research Tools. Are you there? Then go to Select by Location. You're there. All right. Click the Select by Location tool. Slide 19. You should have this window. However, before we go ahead, you need to import your data that you just downloaded. The Ondo State, you have it imported already. Okay, okay. And you need to extract the Ondo boundary. Have you done that as well? You only imported the entire Nigeria, right? Okay, everybody actually, who is following me? Let me ask that question once again. Just you, Jethro. Do you have the Ondo boundary? You've downloaded it. The one I asked you guys to scan. Have you imported it? You imported it. Then extract the one for Ondo State. Okay, so because of our time, right? I would run through the slides. I'll run through the slides. If you can catch up, that would be beautiful. But if not, the slides will be made available on Telegram platform, so you can always go home and practice them. So at this point, you should have imported the Nigeria boundary, and as well, you need to export your own Ondo state boundary, or you can use Lagos state boundary, or you can use. Thank you very much. So this is the Nigeria boundary containing. This should be the one containing LCDs. There is the one that contains LGA divisions, right? And that's the one you guys downloaded. So all you just need to do is to export the one of Ondo State. So when you export the one of Ondo State, slide 19. 19. Yes. Yes, thank you. So the first field says select feature from. So that's drop down. You're going to put the road data. Then you go down. The next field that says by comparing to the features from, that's where you select your Ondo State boundary. So after you've done that, you also need to ensure that that intersect option is checked. Then you click on run. Next slide. Then after you've done that, you get a result, but you also need to perform the clipping operation. So what the clipping operation will do is it will ensure that the road data that is available is within Ondo State specifically. So that it will ensure that no roads is actually crossing the boundary into another state. So that's what the clipping tool will do. Next slide. So this will be the result. I didn't produce the map fully. So this will be the result. This is the road network within Ondo State. This is the road network within Ondo State. So what are the insights? You can actually generate from this. Go to the symbology. Go to the symbology and edit the symbology of this road network to show roads that are residential and roads that are unclassified. Roads that are residential and roads that are unclassified. Next slide. So this is going to be the last exercise, and it says visualizing the distribution of OSM outside data in Ondo State. So in the first map, you can see that it is showing the health data distribution in Ondo State. We have the clinics, we have the hospitals, and we have the pharmacies. And can you zoom in? Yes, for the first map. Okay. So you can see that there is a metric attached to the health data. The entire health data that is available in Ondo State is 100. Then there is what I call segments. Out of that, it's the health data. We have clinics, hospitals, and pharmacies. Right. So the next map. The next map shows health data distribution in districts of Ondo State. In other words, the local governments in Ondo States. All right. How can we see the distribution of health data in Ondo State? So you notice that there is more data in Idonre, local governments, and that's why the color is very, very dark in red. Okay, so in the next few slides, I'll show us how that was achieved. Okay, next slide. Okay, so step one, import health data downloaded from healthsites.io and the administrative boundary for your AOI. So this is the first step. Just import your data, both the health site data, the health data you downloaded from healthsite.io and the administrative boundary. Next slide, next slide. So you need to convert the polygon layer, because when you download your data from healthsites.io, there are two data that will be downloaded: point data and polygons. Point data and polygons. All right. Now we need to convert the polygons to points. We need to convert the polygons to points because some mappers must have drawn polygons and attached, the health attributes to it. And that's why healthsites.io recognized the building as a health data. So when you import it to QGIS, we cannot continue our analysis while the data is in polygon. So we need to convert it to point data. And we can do that using the Centroid tool in QGIS from the vector tab, the geometry tool, and the Centroid. You fill in the necessary and you click on the other image there. Next slide. And you click on OK. Next slide. Okay. Now, when you've converted your polygon into point data, you need to merge it to the other point data that is available. Because at this point in time, you have two point data already. Okay, so you need to merge them using the merge vector. So from the vector tab, data management tools, you go to the merge vector layers, and that other window will open up. Fill in, you select the 2 point datas from that drop down and you click on OK. So at this point, next slide. So at this point, you export your area of interest. As you can see, this is the layer. The first image shows how you can export your area of interest. So you can see that yellow polygon there. That's Ondo State, the entire of Ondo State. The next image here is showing the entire of Ondo State with its local government divisions. So you export Ondo State and you also export the divisions here. Okay. Then you open the query, the attributes table of, yes, you open the attributes table of the boundary layer so that you can select the area of interest you want to export. That's Ondo State and the local government divisions. So when you open the attributes table, you get that view over there. Then that red circle that is drawn with that equation, that E equation summation, when you click on it, it's going to open this window down, right? And you see another, the window is like a query window, just like the Quick OSM. Here we are going to say select select admin O1, that's its inside column, equals to not seeing it from here. Okay, admin EN equals to Ondo. I might not really be able to get you all to understand this because it's not very, very much interactive, but please just follow me through. So when you type in that query, what it will do is it will select, you can see that the selected features are colored in yellow. So when you do this, then you now go and export. Export simply just right click on the layer of the data in your QGIS environment and go to export features. Export selected features. Export selected features. Then it will export those highlighted boundaries you are seeing over there. Next slide. Select by location. We used this tool earlier on, and we are going to be using the same tool to select the point data, the health data within Ondo State. Within Ondo State, and the one containing the LGA divisions. Next slide. So this is Ondo State, right? This is Ondo State containing Ondo State and the health data that we have merged. So when I performed the select by location tool, QGIS was able to highlight the health data, the health point data within Ondo State only. And this is what you have. Next slide. All right. So in the previous slide, you notice that some points were highlighted as yellow. So we only need that data, and we perform the export operation again. So when you export that highlighted data, you have this as your result. I demonstrated how to do the export. You can see that's the merge layer up there. Right click on it, you have that other window. Go to export and you see save selected feature as. Right, you can see that's the view with the yellow dots. Then when you are done with save selected feature as, you have this image as the result. Ondo State boundary and the health data within Ondo State. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So the next thing I did was that I went to the properties of the health data and classified. I classified the data based on the values that is available. Remember when we were using the Quick OSM tool, we have the key and the value. So here also, those health data, those health care data, they also have values. I noticed they had values, and they had 3 different values: clinic, hospitals, and pharmacy. So I gave the 3 of them different symbology and also activate the count tool so that I can know the number of that particular facility that is available in the entire Ondo State. So we have 55 clinic, 5 hospitals, and 40 pharmacies. So roughly, clinic and hospitals are almost doing similar, task, just that the hospital is on a larger scale, right? So we can say the whole of Ondo State have 60 healthcare infrastructure. 60 healthcare infrastructure. So the question now pops up, that is that enough to serve, the whole of Ondo State? As we all know that the pharmacy, basically, they are the one that they are the store where the drugs needed for patients to use are gotten from. Next slide. Next slide. All right. Now we want to count the points the points in each local government of Ondo State. You know, previously we were able to identify the various healthcare data within the entire Ondo State, but now we want to go down into local government. So we need to count the point data within local governments in Ondo State. So you can do that by using the analysis tool, the count points in Polygon. You fill the parameters accordingly. Next slide. Now, when you fill that parameters and you run that particular tool, a new field will be added to the attributes table of your data called num-health. So it will give you the statistics of points data within the local governments in Ondo States. Then when you have that, next slide. The next thing you want to do is to tweak the symbology. In other words, you want to recognize the number of, or want to see how the health data is distributed within local government in those states. So you go to the symbology of that particular data, then change the color, classify it, go to the class there and change it to 5. Change your holds to natural breaks, your mode rather, the mode to natural breaks, then click on OK. Then when you click on OK, you have the next slide as your result. Next slide. Okay. So this is the result of what we just did, the symbology we tweaked. So it was able to give us a visual representation of the how the health data are distributed within local governments in Ondo States. And it didn't just put the numbers. You can see there is no number written. Those texts you are seeing are actually the names of the local government. So what QGIS actually did was to convert the numerical data into a graduated scale of colors, so that we can say that, oh, this one with light color is 0 to 0. So there's no even there's no health facility, no health infrastructure within that local government, and that's not really too good. Then going up, you can see the pinkish kind of light orange rather. Light orange color just have about 0 to 2 healthcare facilities. Next one 2 to 12. Next one 12 to 20, and the highest, that's 20 to 23 healthcare facility, which is Ondo State. Idore local government within Ondo State. So yes, I've been able to demonstrate how you can generate geospatial insights, from using open source tools, and that's the case study of QGIS and OSM. Before I can zoom out, right? Okay, inside presentation. Okay. Before I make an explanation on this, there's another geospatial insights you can generate from the QGIS and the OSM database, and that's and also you can also derive the number of infrastructures that has been affected as a result of the flood that passed through a particular region, and you can use the OSM, get your data from OSM, import it into QGIS, and do one or two things. One of the things you're going to be doing is the buffer analysis. After you have imported your water data, using the same methodology on the QuickOSM, water is equals to, that should be, okay, waterway is equals to river, waterway is equals to stream, and the likes. disease outbreak in now you know the local government with the highest healthcare facilities is Idonre. And if you check, if you're able to check the road network of Ondo State, the road network is more within Idonre, which also signifies that that place has a high population data. So if, for example, there is a disease outbreak in that region, we can know the number of healthcare facilities that is available in that region, number one. And it will also help non-organization that want to go for rescue mission or want to administer drugs and all to know the capacity, the volume, the number of the number of resources, drugs, injections, and the like that is needed that can serve that particular community. Next one says improving effective emergency response operation, which complements the second insight. The fourth one says planning for future healthcare needs. This one also complements the first one. So in other words, government can say, okay, in the next year, let us, by next year rather, let us ensure that we have a few number of healthcare facilities in so local governments. And lastly, accessibility evaluation of individuals to easily access health centers. Now, for this particular insight, you will need two results. The first result was what we actually did initially, and that was the downloading the road highway data from OSM and the healthcare distribution that we just did. So you overlay the two layers. You overlay the two layers together, and when you overlay the two layers together, it will help you understand that, okay, this region, there is limited access. There's limited road access, road network to be able to, for individuals, for residentials, to be able to access healthcare facilities. So if you have those two data, you'll be able to know that, okay, we can put an healthcare facility here because this road network is very, very busy, is residential or something, and you can make a decision that, okay, let an health center be here, let an health center be here, and the likes. So with this, I hope we have learned one or two things, maybe a number of things on how we can generate insights, how we can generate insights from geospatial data using this specific OSM, this specific geospatial tools, the QGIS and the OSM platform. Thank you for your attention and for listening.
Jam your hands together for him again. That was a beautiful one. Even when the level of resilience has really gone down, we was still able to push ahead. And then I do want to appreciate you all for staying put to this time. You know, in the program, we have a very program, many training to be done, many talks, many academic activities to be carried out. Novice. That's what we see. Thank you so much. So, with this last speaker, we have practically come to the end of this conference session here. Like I said earlier on, the general workshop that involves mapping with AI using JOSM and Arrow RapID is taking place at Zikofoni Hall. In rounding up, tomorrow this conference is continuing. It's like a 2 full day conference. 2 full day. And tomorrow today we didn't start very early. So I wouldn't want us to stay this long tomorrow. So what we are proposing
let's follow the timetable here. 8:30, we should all be here, particularly our young participants. Today we didn't come early. Already we have one of our lead speaker who is already from Bauchi, has hit the airport. It's on his way coming down to Ife. So we'll give him the first bit tomorrow. So we expect that every one of us should be seated by 8:30, that by 9 o'clock, we start off the program without any delay. So once again, as we finish here, for those of us taking part in the mapping training, we'll go to Kufoni Hall. So once again, I want to thank every one of us for your patience, for your resilience, and I wish you the very best of your night rest. Thank you very much. God bless me. I didn't hear you. I said, God bless me. And God bless all of us. Thank you so much. Do have a good night rest. Bye-bye. So, training continues at Kufoni Hall. Those of us